If you have a debit card or a bank account, you need to know about this right now.
He had no idea someone was watching him. $3,500 in cash. She wants the public to see what happened to her father.
A strong warning from a North County family. The thieves ended up stealing thousands of dollars from the victim. Tony Shin is live in Fallbrook with surveillance video of the suspects caught in that act. Tony.
In this case, the victim had just left this bank that you see behind me. He had no idea someone was watching him and no idea thieves were following him home.
He doesn't have any kind of suspicion that anything's going on.
Juan and his sister Carol are closely reviewing the surveillance video from their parents' Fallbrook home. It shows their father Rodolfo coming home on February 25th after a trip to the nearby Chase Bank where he just withdrew $3,500 in cash so he could buy his brother's car.
He's walking out with this white envelope from the bank and he's getting it into his duffel bag that he has, not realizing that, the white Jeep Cherokee was following him all the way home.
Carol is talking about this white Jeep Cherokee. In the video, you can see it slowly pass by Rodolfo's home. He doesn't notice it as he gets out of his truck to go inside and eat lunch. Meantime, that white Cherokee continues to go back and forth outside.
They literally are just driving like a fish in a tank, just waiting for their time to hit.
That's when the Cherokee backs into Rodolfo's parking spot and someone wearing a hoodie quickly jumps out of the back seat. The thief opens up the passenger door of Rodolfo's truck and grabs the duffel bag with the $3,500 in cash. The Cherokee then drives off.
He had a lot of important documents in there. He had spare keys for work. He had his work phone in there, checkbooks.
Sheriff's investigators call this type of crime bank jugging. That's when thieves sit outside banks watching for customers who are leaving with deposit bags or envelopes that could be filled with a lot of cash. They then secretly follow the customer until they get an opportunity to take that bag of money. This really hurts the family, doesn't it?
It does. It sure does.
Carol doesn't want another family to experience this type of financial loss, which is why she wants the public to see what happened to her father and to be aware of their surroundings, especially when walking out of a bank with a lot of cash.
Right, so what you just watched is something that's called bank jugging. A lot of people have never heard of this before, but criminals across the country are doing this every single day. Here's what happened in this particular situation. A man went to his bank account like he normally does, and he withdrew $3,500 in cash because he was planning on buying a car from a family member. Nothing wrong with that, right? Pretty normal situation. People withdraw cash from banks all the time. But what he didn't realize is that someone was watching him inside or outside of that bank. A lot of times, situations like this, people may speculate that there could be an inside job of people that actually work inside the bank, and then they start giving that information to someone outside. Either way, the moment that he walked out with that white envelope, the criminals already had their target. They watched him get into his truck, and then they followed him all the way home. Now think about how calculated this is. These criminals didn't randomly just pick anyone, right? Because how do you know how much money a person took out or if a person took out anything? They were just sitting outside the bank waiting for someone to come out with what looked like cash. And then when they saw that the envelope from the bank, they assumed that there was money inside. From that moment on, they started tracking him. Now you can see in the surveillance video that there was a white Jeep Cherokee that followed him back to his house. And the victim had absolutely no idea that he was being followed. He parked his truck. He walked inside of his home to eat his lunch and left the bag inside the car. That's when the criminals made their move. The Jeep started circling the area. They were waiting for the right opportunity. And as soon as they saw the coast was clear, someone jumped out of the vehicle, opened the truck door, and then grabbed the duffel bag and, of course, drove off. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Inside that bag wasn't just $3,500 in cash. There was also important documents, work items, keys, and checkbooks, all gone in seconds. And this type of crime is what investigators call bank jugging. Now, let me explain exactly how this works, because once you understand it, you'll realize how easy it is for criminals to pull this off for anyone. Most of the time, these criminals just sit in parking lots near banks. They're watching customers walk in and out. They're specifically looking for things like deposit bags, white bank envelopes, people withdrawing large amounts of cash, or anyone who looks like they might be carrying money. Sometimes they even walk inside the bank and they pretend to be customers so they can see what's going on. They're not there to do any banking. They're there to watch who's withdrawing money. Then once someone leaves the bank with that cash, they follow that person. Not right on their bumper either. They usually stay a few cars behind so the person doesn't realize that they're even being followed. And then they follow them until one of three things happen. Number one, either the person stops somewhere. Number two, the person goes home. Or number three, the person leaves the money unattended in a vehicle. That's when they strike. Sometimes they even break into the car to get the money. Sometimes they wait until the person goes inside somewhere. And sometimes they even stage distractions to get people out of their vehicles. Now, here's the part that makes this even more concerning. This isn't just happening in one city. Bank jugging has been reported in multiple states across the country recently, and criminals are getting more organized with it. Some crews even work in teams. Here's how it works. One person sits inside the bank, another person watches the parking lot, and another vehicle follows the victim. So by the time that you leave the bank, they already know exactly who they're targeting. Now, let's talk about how to protect yourself, because most people don't even think about this. The first thing that you want to do is stay aware when you're leaving the bank or any financial institution. Look around the parking lot. If you're carrying cash, please do not make it obvious. Don't walk out holding a big white bank envelope where everyone can see it. Put it inside a bag, a folder, or something that doesn't scream that I have money and I have cash. Second, watch for vehicles that might be following you. You can even look at vehicles when they're in the parking lot. If you notice the same car behind you for several turns, that is a red flag. If that happens, do not drive home. Drive somewhere busy, like a police station, a grocery store, or somewhere with a lot of people. Third, don't leave cash in your vehicle, even if you're just running inside your house for just a minute. That's exactly what happened in this case. The victim left the bag in the truck while he went inside, and then the thieves were watching the entire time. Fourth, if you're withdrawing a large amount of cash, consider bringing someone with you just in case. Keep in mind, you can always ask the bank if they are open to escorting you to your vehicle. A lot of banks will actually do this. All you have to do is ask. And another option most people forget about, you don't always have to carry cash. Many banks can help you do a cashier's check or in electronic transfers instead of walking out of the bank with thousands of dollars in cash. Now, let's talk about what you should do immediately if something like this happens to you. The first thing is call the police right away. The faster that you report it, the better chance investigators have of finding surveillance footage or tracking the suspects. Second, contact your bank immediately, especially if there's anything like checkbooks, debit cards, or financial documents were stolen. You want those accounts locked down as quickly as possible. Third, You want to monitor all of your bank accounts and, of course, your credit reports just in case they think that they're going to do some identity theft. Because if criminals get access to personal documents, they may try to use that information later down the line. And this is why stories like this are so important to talk about, because most people assume if they leave the bank, then they're safe. You're not. Criminals are literally watching and waiting for the opportunity. And all it takes is one moment where you're not paying attention. One quick stop, one bag left in the car, and they're gone with everything. So the biggest takeaway here is simple. If you're leaving a bank with cash, pay attention to your surroundings. Watch for cars that might be following you or look suspicious, or people sitting just in the bank parking lot in general. And never leave money sitting in your vehicle, because unfortunately, crimes like this are becoming more common, and the people doing it are getting more strategic every single year. I'll see you on the next video.